Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode, but before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that Make Mental is hosting its first ever community golf event on May 3rd, 2025 in Avon, New York, and we are inviting you to join. It is a 4-person scramble 18-hole event with prizes, raffles, lunch, and dinner included. Plus, some of the proceeds will go to Active Minds, a non-for-profit supporting teen and child mental health. And that's not all. Make Mental and Humble New York City are launching a special mental health fitness clothing collaboration on the day of the event. If you can't make it and would like to donate or support, please reach out to makementalsales@gmail.com. Sign up today at www.makemental.com. Help us make the difference. Let me tell you about the Sleep With Me podcast. If you struggle to get a good night's sleep like me, I need you to check out this podcast. Each episode is crafted to help you unwind, featuring gentle storytelling designed to ease your mind and guide you into restful slumber. I kid you not, whenever I'm anxious in bed at night, I turn it on, and before I know it, it's morning, and I'm as refreshed as I've ever been. I am not sure how it works, but trust me when I tell you, it does. So, join me and thousands of others who have turned restless nights into peaceful sleep with the help of the Sleep With Me podcast. Go Global is a free-flowing technology company that handcrafts, embellishes, and manufactures garments and accessories. Designed on the principles of people, places, and possibilities, Go Global reimagines fashion and is inspired by you, the people of the world. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode on the Make Mental podcast. As always, I'm Caleb Munski, and we are here with a really unique guest. We're going to explore the intersections of life, golf, and the mind. And we are joined by a true gem from the golf world, Shawn Walsh, the former Gonzaga star, pro-ish golfer, as he describes himself. We'll get into that, and a vital part of the Good Golf crew on YouTube. Beyond his skills on the green and the millions of fans he inspires daily with his own YouTube as well, Shawn's here to open up a little bit about his mental health journey, the game behind those swings, and how he navigates the highs and lows of the spotlight. So expect some real talk about staying grounded, potentially a few wild stories, and maybe even a nugget of wisdom to boost your swing and your well-being. So settle in and let's take a deep breath. Shawn Walsh, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Make Mental podcast.
Absolutely, Caleb. No, I appreciate you having me. What an introduction. I tell you what, man. Yeah, that was very, very thoughtful. You put in a lot more work into your introductions than I do in my YouTube channel, so I really need to take some notes. But no, happy to be here for sure. I mean, kind of like we discussed prior, we have a lot in common as far as kind of our backgrounds and our specific sports. And I think we're going to have a great conversation today about, the importance of mental health and the importance of just understanding that, hey, you're not the only one out there.
Yeah, I do appreciate it. And I feel like that's not fair to say because, I mean, this maybe will lead into our first topic is a YouTube introduction is a little different than a podcast introduction, right? People are coming, they know what your content's all about. When they come to my podcast, it's like, all right, who's the guest today? So we got to kind of give them a little bit of a background. But with that being said, is there anything that I left out maybe that you're proud of or that you think might be important to the conversation we're about to have?
No, I mean, I think you did good. I mean, I guess not to skip too far ahead into potential conversation pieces, but I think that one of the things that I've really had to work on as far as, that transition of am I a pro golfer, am I a YouTuber, things like that is understanding that like my character and like I'm grounded in something that's actually greater than both of those things. That it's like I'm like a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a Christian. Like it's like those are things that I find that when I ground myself in those things, I don't get as lost and okay, am I a golfer? Am I a YouTuber? That kind of thing. Because definitely feels a little bit like limbo sometimes, especially right now. between the spaces. So, but yeah, no, I'm working on it, and yeah, it's happy to be here. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, we can exist there for a minute. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people, especially in our community, kind of feel that position of limbo that you talk about, right? We're former athletes, even if you weren't former college students, right? Like you had an identity, and then all of a sudden, whether it's positive or negative, you have an opportunity for that identity to change. For you, golf pro was probably always the goal, considering that you were a star at Gonzaga, and then all of a sudden, YouTube was a possibility. Um, Again, still a good problem to have, but stressful nonetheless, right? Still a decision to make nonetheless. And I heard you say it on I don't know if it was on your channel or on the Good channel, but with the golf girls games, that when you're in the pro world, you're struggling to sometimes make the cut and get that paycheck. But then when you're in the YouTube world, everyone's rooting against you because you are the pro on the channel, right? And they want to see you fall. How can you kind of work yourself through that? Because yeah, it is all fun and games on the YouTube channel, but you still have to perform in your own right on the YouTube channel in order to keep that job too. I think sometimes people just watch the videos and are like, "Oh, he's good. He'll be there next episode. He'll be there next episode." Like that's not necessarily true, right? How do you balance that? People basically rooting against you no matter where you're at.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, I remember having conversations with friends that were kind of in similar situations to me, like a couple of years ago. It's like they're like, I can't ever seem to win. It's like the comments hate me if I win because they're like, oh, he wins all the time. And then if I lose, they're like, oh, well, he sucks. He's supposed to win all the time. So it's like I think that like personally, I've been actually really not necessarily surprised, but really thankful that I have had a lot of support, whether that's like from the comments or even just from the good guys in general. They're like, "Hey, look, like you're a great golfer. Like we're not gonna, hold it against you if you happen to have a bad day or two." And I think that for me, it's really helpful of like how positive the good environment is as far as going into it. I was nervous. I was like, okay, Brad Dalkey is obviously a great player, and we're kind of going to be pitted up against each other all the time, and we have totally different games, and his looks a lot sexier than mine, and I was like, okay, like I mean, he hits it far, he makes a ton of putts, he does a lot of like this cool, YouTube clickbaity type stuff, and it's like I'm just super boring and when it comes to my approach to the game, and so it's like, will people respond to that as well? And I mean, yeah, I think that the guys in good, I've been really fortunate because I guess they basically cultivated such a positive environment that I've been able to get in there and really, I mean, feel really not like any pressure at all. And which is kind of funny to say because, like you said, like there's millions and millions of people that watch these videos, and like the pro events I was playing, there were like tens and tens of people watching those. So it was like, but somehow I had more stress during those. So it was kind of funny. Yeah, kind of a weird juxtaposition that I'm now randomly feeling like more comfortable playing in front of millions of people on film than I was at some of these professional events that I was playing kind of over the past like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, I think you said something that's crucial is the community that you have behind you.
Yeah.
Golf is a solo sport unless you're on some sort of captain and crew event. And I know you mentioned you're going against Brad, but we've seen you guys in the par three contests going
Oh
with
yeah,
each other now. So now you're actually a teammate. So now he gets those. You say he sinks putts. Well, he watches your read first. So we're gonna humble
that's
him here
fair.
really
Thank
quick. We're
you,
gonna humble him
Caleb.
here really quick.
Thank you. No,
But I mean, he still has to step up and do his job. So it's both ways. But
that's right. That's right.
he gets to see the read first. But
That's right.
obviously it good is positive, it's fun, but anyone who's lived in a college dorm knows there is more moments, not more, excuse me, there is moments where it's tough, right? It's tiring, it's exhausting. Sometimes the last thing you want to do is wake up and see your best friend. You're just like, dude, get out of my face today, like I need to be alone. In those moments, right, we don't have to record ourselves, we don't have to upload it to YouTube, we don't have to tell anyone, right? We can just, I'm going to the gym, leave me alone.
Yeah.
How, and it happens, we don't have to know who your least favorite is, but in those moments when you get up and you're like, man, I don't need this energy today, or I don't know if I can get in front of the camera, what do you do to kind of to push through that might be relatable to someone who has a day job, right? They get up, they don't want to go to work. How do you
Yeah.
push through?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think I've been really blessed with just kind of my background and kind of like the professional journey that I was on. Like I mean, I guess to this might be a little bit of a longer answer to this question, but I promise I'll get there at some point.
You're okay. Go ahead.
But just my professional career, I was just all the time. I felt like I was good enough. It just wasn't playing well at the right time, and that was kind of this narrative in my brain that I had for years and years. It's like I'd play. My buddies would come home from playing PGA Tour events, Corn Ferry events. I'd go play with them. Like felt just as competitive. I'd go to Q school. I missed by one. I missed by two. It was like always all these like narrow misses, and so I think that going into this YouTube space that I just have this outlook that's just so much more positive, that's so much more like, hey, look, like I know that like even if I don't want to go out there and, if I'm feeling like I don't want to get in front of the camera, or I'm like, like just I can't hang with one of the guys today or something like that. Like, I mean, which again, thankfully doesn't happen all that often, but I'm really lucky to be able to like look back and be like, hey, look, like this is where we were and like this is where we are now. It's like like you're so blessed to be able to do what you do, and there's so many people that would like kill to be in your position that really, they would bring it regardless of how they felt. So it's like that always, I always kind of fall back on that of like, hey, look, like there's, you know, this is kind of your job, but it's so at that point, do your job. But at the same time, it's like, look where we were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's like, what would that Sean be saying to you if you're like, oh, I don't want to go film a YouTube video? And it's like, brother, it's like, I'm in China right now. Like, I mean, 3 shots off the number with 4 holes to play. I'm like, I just wasted 3 grand to come all the way over here. Like, it's like that Sean, I owe it to that Sean to get up and, put a smile on my face and get it done. That's the way I kind of feel.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. It's a perspective shift that you almost need. And every day it's not possible, right? I'd be lying to you if I said that it needs to be done every day just because younger Sean would appreciate it. Like that's also
Right.
you're still human. You're not just on the big screen. Like you still have daily problems that yeah, for an hour you could forget about, but like okay, they come back, right? It's not one of those 0 or 100 scenarios. But
For sure.
I'm thinking in those moments, I mean, you do a good enough job of kind of compartmentalizing, putting it to the side. We'll say that I can't notice it on the videos, but in those moments where it does transfer over and you notice it, right? Because you know yourself best. How do you say, all right, maybe that wasn't my best video, maybe that wasn't my best round of golf, maybe I did miss the mark or the cut by one swing. How do you pick yourself back up for tomorrow, right? Because there
Yeah.
still is tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, and for me, just personally, I mean, I think that it bounces back to the things that I really prioritize the most. Like, kind of like I'd said earlier, it's like I mean, I am a YouTube golfer. I am a professional golfer. I'm sorry. It's like I do YouTube golf. I do professional golf, but who I am is like I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a Christian. It's like those three things, like those like pillars. It's like I'm a good friend. Like those are the things that I really value at the end of the day. And that's who I am. I just do pro golf. I just do YouTube golf, but like who I am are those three things or those multiple things, however many things that they are. And so at the end of the day, it's like, oh look, if I go play crappy on a video, or if I'm having a tough day, it's like I I try to almost wrap around and act trying to basically chase those things as being a good father, as being a good husband, as being a good friend, as I try to chase those things more than wrapping myself up in, oh dude, you're a pro golfer but you played bad, or oh, you're a YouTube golfer but you had a crappy video. you know and that has actually really relieved a lot of the stress, I mean, that comes from like, oh, I have to play good in this first video. I mean, just like a little anecdote, it's funny. Like the first video that I played on my personal channel, like I played awful. I played terrible, and it was just like sitting there the entire you have that part of the brain that's just like, dude, what the heck are you doing? It's like people are coming here because you're good at golf. Like, what are you doing? And but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, look, like you know this is an opportunity to allow people to see the side of yourself that really I would love to see come through on the videos. It's like, hey, look, like, yeah, I'm supposed to be good at golf, but hey, guess what, didn't happen. It's like there's a bunch of guys that wake up at 9 a.m. that are supposed to be good accountants and they have a crappy day. It's like, hey, guess what, you're not an accountant. Like you are more than being an accountant. You are more than a professional soccer player. You are more than these things, you know? And so I think that's what, and honestly, I've done a lot of work with a really good friend of mine, and sports psychologist, Billy Ryan, that, I mean, I've probably for the last 5 years, that has helped me get there. Because I will say, I wouldn't have just found it myself. Like I definitely needed some help getting there, getting this sort of perspective change because yeah, it's frankly it's too hard to do it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that honesty, and I can relate on a handful of levels. I mean, I feel like before I get there, I feel like you had a crystal ball and you just looked into my life because I do work in an accounting firm and I do play
Oh yeah.
soccer. So I was like, where's the hidden
Whoa.
camera here?
Yeah,
Who is,
accountant was
yeah,
that was out of the blue. I knew you were
where's this
soccer,
guy
but
you work with? Like, I need whatever he's feeding you there. But no, on a more mental health note, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? I can relate. I sometimes when I see the statistics of the podcast, I'm like, oh, this one got 100 something views less than the other one. It's like, why? First of all, it's never the guest. It's always, oh, me. What did I do wrong? Did I not ask the right questions? Did I not
right.
set the guest up for success? Right? Because it is my platform. You have to take that responsibility. But then, like you said, can you take that step back and go, wait a minute? I'm privileged to speak to wonderful guests such as yourself. I'm lucky enough that I've put myself in a position to do podcasting, to shed a light on mental health that is not who I am, right?
Right.
I'm a boyfriend, I'm a son, I too am a Christian. It's those things that keep you grounded. And if you can focus your energy on making those aspects of your life the best possible, I guarantee the podcast episode in my case will be 10 times better in my eyes than it would have been otherwise. I'm sure it's the same
Yeah.
for your golf, for your YouTube. When the rest of your life is in order, those things that truly make you you, then the things that you get to do end up being done better. Does that ring true to you?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I almost, it's funny, especially like high level athletes like you, like me, it's that drive, that being so tough on yourself is what helps us get to the levels that we get to. But at the same time, obviously, there's a darker side of that coin too that can also kind of put you in the ground, a little bit. Like, and so it's just like, I mean, and just like beat you while you're down. And so I think that it's like a matrix, right? It's like you need a little bit of that, obviously, because if you're so far off to one side that you don't care about what, trying to be a professional soccer player, trying to be a professional golfer, and obviously I'm probably never going to get to that level that I want to get to in professional soccer, professional golf, right? But, it's finding that middle ground of like giving yourself grace while at the same time like understanding that level of like personal drive that you need to have to get to where you want to go, I think is kind of, and it just seems like, I mean, the people that I've met, and obviously I'm a little bit more just golf world oriented, but the people that I've met, like I've been very fortunate to meet the best players in the game and like grow up with them. Like I grew up playing golf with Scotty Scheffler, and I mean, I've like there's a kid up and coming kid, Luke Clanton, that is going to be another world beater, and it's just they just are so like authentically themselves. And I mean, again, I'm just stating a fact, dude. Like their number one priorities like is their faith. It's something different. Like their identity is not in golf. Their identity is in something different. So, for other people, I'm not here saying it's like mandatory has to be religion, but it's like it needs to be something that's like bigger than yourself, that like grounds you almost, to where like, hey, look, like you're able to be that hard person on yourself when things aren't going right and you kind of need to turn the ship. And like, but at the same time, like that 30,000 foot view of like, hey, look, like this is who I am as a person, and that's more important than, you know whatever trophy I could win or however much money I could win doing this professional sport. Yeah.
Yeah, again, that perspective that you need to be able to step back and realize when you need that bird's eye view versus when you need to get out your sand wedge and just whack at it, right?
Yeah,
For
exactly.
lack of better
Find it in
analogies,
the
right?
dirt. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right. In the moment, you're staring at a 6 foot bunker and you're like, what the heck did I do wrong? But then you
Hmm.
zoom out and you're like, wait a minute, this is a 6 foot greenside bunker. I'm right here. I'm literally so close to the final part of this chapter of my life, right? Can I get up and down for golf terms and escape with a bogey or in my case a triple? But
Yeah.
yeah, you mentioned some of the top guys in the game right now. Luke obviously just congratulations, earning his card, and Scotty coming back from injury, but still undoubtedly the best in the world.
Right.
You see these videos of these guys on social media and you wonder like how they do it. And it makes so much sense because there was a video of Scotty with his kid and his wife, and he was just like, they weren't talking about golf. They were at his event. I think it was the Players. And he was just like, oh, hey, how are you? Thanks. Like, did you tell her what she did? Like talking about the kid, right? Another area of
Right.
their life. And it seems like when all that's in order for him, it's so much easier for him on the course. So can we do that as the accountants? Can we do that as the coaches, as the teachers, as the friends? Can we have the parts of our life that we don't do, right? That we identify with? Can we try and get those in order before we take a step over into the other world? Obviously, again, with that mentality of, yeah, sometimes you need to get out that pitching wedge, take that hard shot if it's not on the upslope for you, but sometimes it's necessary. So
Yeah.
for you, I guess you mentioned faith, you mentioned friends, you mentioned family. When you're on these trips and you've been away from all three of those things, obviously not so much your friends, but your faith and
Right.
your family, and I'll make it difficult for you. Besides FaceTime,
Perfect. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
else can you stay in touch with those things? Because you mentioned you're going to other countries, you're spending weeks at tour events with these guys watching, but also doing your job. And it's just,
Hmm.
plus you have your personal channel. Like, it's just, to me, it's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts. How do you stay grounded in those moments?
For sure. Yeah, no, and that's there's definitely been a learning curve on that too, because, prior to this past year, I guess, I mean, it was more so it's like, oh, I'm a pro golfer, so it's like everything I do is like pro golf things. It's like I go practice, I come back, and I have more of a set schedule, and so at least my wife kind of at the beginning of the year knows as far as travel plans and things like that. Now, from a YouTube perspective, especially in the midst of, getting a personal channel up and off the ground and running and you know, doing good and trying to be as active as I possibly can, to help out the team, especially as the new guy. Try to go to everything, things like that. Yeah, it's definitely new. I know my wife, thankfully, like bless her, because it's like she knew what she was getting into. Fortunately, she was a high level gymnast, like growing up and stuff, so she understands that athletic side of things, that time sacrifice. And I mean, really, I just remember like dating. I'd be like, okay, like, how do you tell a girl, oh, hey, like, yeah, like, would love to hang out, would love to, see where this goes. And by the way, like, I'm gone 5 out of the next 7 weeks. It's like, they're like, what the hell is that? I mean, nothing's gonna, it's like, okay, cool, like, bye. And so I was so lucky to have her come into my life and find somebody who gets it, who understands what I'm doing, and, and who is, because she could very easily be, if she wasn't as selfless as she is, she could be like, well, what about me? What about the things I want? And she's been so good about being able to say, hey, look, like, I know what you're doing, like all this time that you spent away, like you're doing it like for us. And so that definitely helps me, like we just got back from, like, we were out of town. I think we've been out of town for, like, I'd probably say 3 out of the last 4.5 or 5 weeks. And so, and I actually got back yesterday or last night late. And so, so that helps make those trips a little bit easier. Is support from her, support from, I've always kind of had it from like my parents and stuff like that, and my friends and things like that. It's like they get it, they understand, what it is I'm trying to do, what it is I'm doing, and they want it for me just as bad, and so all that support makes it a lot easier. Because if it was, if it was every night, oh, like, when you coming home, like, this is so hard, yada yada, like, if that was every night like that, emotionally, I mean, that'd be a lot. It'd be a lot. And so I'm very blessed with the people that I have around me. And that definitely makes that situation way more tolerable than, it could be.
Hmm. Yeah, it is nice to have people in your corner.
Yeah,
Again, community becoming a massive theme of this episode. I can see it.
for
It
sure.
takes one person to drive the ship, but it takes 100 to keep the fuel and the fire to keep it going forward. So a lot of
Hmm.
times they don't get their flowers. So we're glad your wife got her flowers
Yeah,
right there. Her,
that's
her
right.
little moment
No,
on the
she's
show.
actually staring. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, that's why you said it.
She's
You
like,
want
oh, you
brownie
molest me.
points. Brownie
That's right.
points.
Yeah.
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 She's just holding the baby with the dirty diaper, and it's like, if you don't say
That's
something,
right.
this is yours.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I think actually our podcast time, I think, yeah, Remy timed one up perfectly. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy we
Here,
decided
call me again. Call me again.
yeah,
We'll do another episode.
yeah, no, yeah, we're good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
whenever I need it again,
that's
for sure.
that's awesome. Uh, yeah, a little hard shift here. I think I want to focus on a couple more things before
Mhm.
we come to a close. I know for you, yeah, Division 1 at Gonzaga, there's obviously a little bit of a spotlight there, probably a couple hundred people total throughout the golf course. But then it feels like you just, from at least the YouTube side, just burst onto the scene, just almost out of nowhere. And it wasn't. I'm not going to discredit the hard work you did to get there, but in terms of we're watching these good guys for a couple years come and go. Like we have our familiar faces, we have some of our favorites, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, who's this Sean guy? Like this is pretty neat. This is pretty neat. And then you have to kind of build that rapport while still being yourself, because it's very easy to spot, especially in that group of guys, when people just aren't themselves because they so naturally are. What is that like for you? Is it like, I know you mentioned it a little bit in the beginning, like you wake up and you pinch yourself and now you're in a different part of the world playing your favorite sport.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, to be honest with you, I think what helped a lot is that I didn't even know like that this world really even existed 2 years ago. Like
Huh.
it's like I one of my really good friends, Luke Kwan, was obviously involved in Good, and I remember like just sarcastically always calling him the YouTube sensation, and like because I didn't really think I was like, oh, like that's cool, he's making a little bit of money from it and like helping like fund his pro career and stuff like that. And then like I started to realize I think I forgot what it was. Oh, I think I played like the Good Championship in May, which they had like a pro event, and I played well, and um, I all of a sudden I had probably like 10 or 15 people from high school or something like that. I literally haven't spoken to in forever. Like DM me on Instagram. They're like, dude, I saw you in the Good video and everything. And like, I hadn't even watched it at that point. Like, I was actually, funny story, I was literally going to delete Instagram like a week before because I was like, social media, I was like, I'm not getting any utility from it. Like, I'm tired of it. It's like, it was taking away from, things that I wanted to do. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done with it. And so, ironically enough, that kind of forced me to keep it. So yeah, so you know, yeah, we can talk about social media if you want, but yeah, it was so that was kind of funny. But I guess yeah, too. Also, I talk a lot, so I apologize, everybody.
No, you're
I
okay.
weep.
Hey,
I'm
I
a
say this
weeper.
to everyone. They
Yeah.
come here to listen to you guys. They hear me every week. They want me to shut up. They ask me to ask the questions and then stop talking. So go as long as you want.
All right, that's fair. But I guess yeah, to get back to your question, really, I mean, I think it helped that I didn't know anything about the space first. So I like just went into it being like, I don't even know who they expect me to be. So I'll just be me. And, if it's enough, great. If it's not, no big deal. Like, especially because I was still playing pro golf at the beginning. And again, I don't know if I still am or not, really, honestly. But, so it's like, I was never like gunning for a job, never like trying to be the next member of Good, anything like that. I was really just like, hey, they seem like cool guys. Like, I think I'm a cool guy. You can definitely ask my wife. She definitely thinks that I think I'm a cool guy. But yeah, I think that I was just like, yeah, we'll just go hang and just treat them like they're anybody else. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know how famous they really are. Like, it's like, I mean, had I gone to a PGA Tour event with them before or something like that, then maybe I would have been like, holy crap, like who are these guys? But yeah, I just went out there and was just like, well, like I'll be me. I don't have any expectations. Like I'm not like I said, wasn't gunning for a job, wasn't trying to impress anybody. I was just like, yeah, I'll just go play golf with them and be my normal self and we'll see what happens. And I'm fortunate enough that approach worked, I guess. And yeah, now I'm here and I mean, yeah, I'm so blessed because it seems like everything's just happened really, really fast and I have like 100% of that, like of the credit goes to Good for obviously like the platform that they provide. I mean, my YouTube channel, it's like I have so much respect for people like you and people like others that, organically grow it from the ground up because I always So I'm so blessed when it comes to that. And yeah, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I guess just to put a bow on it, it's like, I mean, my YouTube channel, it's just like I'm just trying to be me. It's like I want to make content that I want to do, that I think is fun. Like obviously, like, of course I love interacting with fans. I love interacting with comments and things like that. And I'll obviously always take what they're saying into consideration. But at the end of the day, like I don't want to chase what if I just spend my time chasing what I think other people want to see from me, like then like one, I'm never going to be happy, and two, guess what? It's going to be inauthentic, and people aren't going to like it as much.
Yeah. That's a hard balance to find too, right? Because in order to keep your channels alive, to keep your job, right, you need to create content that people want to watch, but you don't want to spend your whole entire existence doing things that other people want. And I
Yeah.
think Hannah Berner, do you know Hannah Berner,
I
comedian?
know the name. Yes, yeah, 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 yeah.
She has her own Netflix show out now. Well, she was a really good tennis player at Wisconsin, and then she got injured, and she doesn't call the injury the reason why she stopped playing because she continued to play afterward. But she was saying like that injury forced her to kind of sit still for a moment and allow her to fuel her competitive side in ways that she didn't know existed. Similarly to you, right?
Dang.
You were swinging the club, trying to admirably reach that goal of yours, but then all of a sudden, this YouTube event came along. You're like, sure, why not, right? There's a little bit of exposure. It'll give me something to do. I don't know. Whatever your reasons were, they were.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it was like, whoa, there's something here. I could still be competitive. I can still work on my game. In fact, every single swing I have is now videoed, so I can watch my swing
Right.
every single time. Right? I don't need
Yeah.
to set up a robot for that.
Exactly.
All the editors do great ball flight tracking as well. I still don't know how they do that, but
It's an insane process. I could never, never. It's
I mean,
brutal.
I watch it and I'm just like, how'd they know it went behind that tree?
Yeah. It takes on average about 7 to 8 minutes per tracer.
Holy crap. I was
That's a
wondering the
lot.
other day. I was like, even probably with AI help, it probably still takes a lot of
I
time.
know. That's what I said there. That's what I told him. I was like, you guys need to hire some engineers and like create a platform. Anyway, we're getting off topic. But if they could, they would make hundreds of millions of dollars in this space.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. We're allowed to get off topic. I
That's
actually
true.
wanted
That's
to
right.
get off topic here for a second. I couldn't help but mention you mentioned 50-yard dash. Which good member wins a 50-yard dash?
Oh, Bubby. Bubby.
Bubby?
Bubby's
He's the
fast. Yeah.
fastest. I've seen
Dude, he's
Sharp sprint
fast.
from tee to green a couple times.
But yeah, I know. Sharp keeps running. That's what it's so funny. Like they'll like chirp each other. That's Bubby's chirp for Sharp. He's like, hey, you haven't worked in a year and a half. Go do your job. Like his job is making hole-in-ones. Like that's what, that's a pretty good one.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Bubby,
but
okay.
Bubby's quick. Bubby's like Bubby. He always says that he's the king of just saying things that are not provable at all. He's like, if you give me a year, I could run under a four. I think he said under a 4.3. Which
Jeez.
is correct. Which everybody just rolls their eyes, and we're like,
That's like
one, we can never
NFL.
prove that. Correct. Yeah, but he said in high school
I
he
feel
said
like
he ran like a 4.41. I think
that's pretty good.
that's pretty good.
I mean,
So
that's
the
more than
guy,
pretty good. That's really good.
yeah, the guy's got
But
wheels.
he's athletic. He is
He is.
athletic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got wheels. I'd probably say yeah. Sharp's obviously quick, super good athlete. Garrett loved him to death. Thank God he's good at golf. No,
Not a sprinter.
no, he's
He's
probably
like
not a
Tom Brady
sprinter.
in the flesh. He's really good
Yeah,
at one thing and doesn't need to
that's the
run.
thing. Hey, look, I mean, more power to him, man. I mean, he knows the YouTube game so well and
Oh
golf
yeah,
and
for
stuff like
sure.
that. But yeah, he saw our softball league. He plays out in the outfield, so he's but
Just
I
leave
love
him
you,
out there.
Garrett. Yeah, I love you, Garrett.
At least he's not
But
catcher. He's not stationary.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. No, so but yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, well, Bubby is obviously another one who's been very open about his mental health throughout his entire journey, and I find that very admirable. But I also want to point out, like, you don't have to be as you could be as open as you want, right? Like, it's your story to tell, not just you, Sean, in general, but to anyone listening,
right,
right? Like
for
myself,
sure.
Bubby, other people have done enough work, put in enough time, and then decided that's what we wanted to do. Sean, obviously, coming on here, we're very appreciative for the decision, but he could have easily just been like, yeah, I'm not there yet. And guess what? That's fine, right? You don't
For
have
sure.
to, in order to make changes, they don't have to be these these large commitments, right? You can just say, I want to wake up 10 minutes earlier, or I want to go to sleep 10 minutes earlier, and just get that snowball rolling.
For sure.
For any athlete, we'll say athlete, but I guess golf, you know the best. For any golfer who is right there, right? Like they're very good in high school, they're very good in college, similarly to you, and they want to take that next step to pro. They want to make that commitment or that decision to try. What are a handful of things that you noticed helped you in that journey? Was it a few extra minutes of sleep? Was it how you eat? Was it mentality? What can they do maybe if they're in your spot but they want to go the other way and try pro golf?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that, um, I mean, gosh, like right off the bat, like authenticity was like a super big thing that I worked on with my sports psych. It's like it's just like understanding the type of player I was, understanding that, what my game responded to best. It's like I quickly realized like in pro golf, I remember from college, like all of a sudden you don't have exams, you don't have homework, you don't have reading, things like that. You're like, okay, now I have like 18 hours in a day to be able to get better at golf. And it's like, well, I quickly found out that like I am not a guy that responds to hitting 1,000 balls a day on the driving range. Like my game does not respond very well to that. And I felt like when I first turned pro, I like grinded myself into bad golf because I was like, well, I'm a professional golfer. I have to be practicing for 7 hours a day. I have to be doing this. All these I have to's. And it's like in reality, like there's really no playbook. Like, it's like the people that are the best players in the world are the people that know their games the best. And they know, when things get off, they know how to fix them. Yeah, not only do they know how to fix them, they know like the process at which to go about it. They know how much time to dump back into it. Like I was always scared of having an off day. I would I would have very low level like anxiety about being like, oh well, I didn't practice today, so that means I'm going to suck tomorrow. And it's like I quickly found out that like no, dude. Especially as I got older, I was like, no, those off days, you're actually getting better. Like it's like you can get better at your sport in other ways than just like hitting balls or putting or whatever. It's like you could go work out, like you could go make your body feel good. You could like mentally just take a day off and just like feel like, man, all those swirling thoughts about my golf swing or whatever, I kind of just, it's funny how those kind of go away after like 24 hours, of just like taking your mind away from things. And so I think that that was the biggest thing for me and that's when I started playing better golf was like after I learned, okay, I'm this type of player. Like, this is what I do when I'm playing well. These are the drills that I need to do when I get a little bit off. Like, it was like a quick rebound, like when things got off. But I think that, just understanding the type of player that you are is a really important thing as far as like making that next jump, that next level, and not getting caught up in what other people are doing too.
Mm.
I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people, especially like from the Corn Ferry Tour to like the PGA Tour, they make that mistake. Like when they finally get to the PGA Tour, they're like, okay, I'm at the PGA Tour now. Then they look around, they see Rory, they see Scotty, they see, all these people that are obviously the best in the world at what they do. And so everything that they do looks incredible, especially the things that they do well, like watching Rory hit a driver, watching, you know, some people, putt or chip or whatever, and you have to be like, oh, I have to be like that. I have to be like that. I have to be like that. And it's like, in reality, it's like, no, you're already really freaking good. Like, you just go keep doing what makes you really freaking good and just refine it and refine it and refine it. And, it just basically just keep chipping away at it. And, you'll put yourself in those positions. And that's the crazy thing about golf is that it's so different than any other sport where, just like I always relate it to kind of like tennis in a way. It's like if the number one player in the world is playing the number 100 player in the world in a tennis match, like Djokovic or whoever it is now is going to probably win that 100 times out of 100 nearly. But like golf, it's like anything can happen. So it's like, I mean, you're on the PGA Tour, like you can compete, like you're there, like you can compete to win. And a lot of people get caught up in, changing the things that got them there. And in reality, but like to kind of circle back, that's that part of the brain that's like, I want to get better, I want to get better, I want to get better, and can be a blessing, but at the same time, it can also be a curse if it's too loud, if it's too much of a driving force.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I don't know where I heard this, but I saw a quote that said even too much of the sunshine gives you a burn, right? Like
Yeah.
anything in excess can be detrimental to your well-being. But I do agree with you. I think in order to get there, you need that grind. But once you're close to there, like you said, you're obviously so good that what you need to change isn't huge. It's small
Right.
tweaks. It's the hours you've spent with yourself. Anyone that's right there, I don't care if you're in high school or if you're 50 years old, if you're good at your sport, you've spent, what is it, 10, 20,000 hours at least. And by the time you're a
Right.
certain age, there's some rule there. I don't know. Well,
Mm-hmm.
rule, I'll do air quotes because it's a
Right.
strong suggestion.
Yeah.
Some people just wake up and are good, but uh,
Right.
well, that's not fair to say. I don't see the work they put in. Seemingly, they're just good when
That's
they wake
fair.
up. But
That's fair.
when
Yeah.
when you're in those moments, right, where you're telling yourself like, I need to do X, Y, and Z, I need to switch my swing here. How do you remind yourself that you don't necessarily, that you just need to step back, go to the basics, and just trust yourself that got you there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It it's a scary one. I mean, it's hard to do that. It's hard to shut off that part of your brain, right? And it's funny, like people throw out the term like being like comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's like you actually it's obviously like that's not possible because it's kind of an oxymoron. It's like you're obviously if you're uncomfortable, you're never going to be comfortable. However, it's like you can get better while being uncomfortable. And it's like and you can start to understand in your brain of like and again that's a lot of work that I've put in over the years where I've been, I have had tough days where it's like, okay, like, or I'm on the driving range, like before the round, and it's like, okay, this feels terrible, but like knowing in the back of my brain, like it took a while, but knowing in the back of my brain, being like, hey, guess what, like, what you do here doesn't necessarily correlate. It's like we're just gonna go out there and we're gonna play the best with what we got, and it's so funny, like the amount of times that actually ends up being a pretty good day. The same way that how many people complain about, oh, I'm so good on the driving range, and then I go out there. It's like it can happen the other way too. So it's like it's understanding the things that are actually important. Understanding that like to put it in golf terms, like hey, like your warm up range session doesn't really matter. You're there for warm up. You know, it's like I would imagine it's probably kind of like, oh gosh, this is going to be a stretch for me to try to compare it to pro soccer. But basically, like,
Yeah,
yeah, like if like how you're feeling like pregame and stuff like that,
yeah, yeah.
warm up drills, things like that. And it's like if something just feels like a little off, like, are you really going to like think about that for 90 plus minutes, like the entire time? And be like, oh, dude, like when I was warming up, man, like that just felt weird, or I just didn't feel like I had to touch this day, or something like that. Golly, I'm really at my depth here, but
No,
yeah,
no, you're right. You're actually right on. You're right on. I think, I guess to take it to that world for a sec, if you're in warmups, right, and your strong foot isn't necessarily as, oh, maybe I can't have an outside of the foot pass today or an outside of the foot touch, or maybe I'm defending and I can't, like, I'm too sore to like kind of backpedal to the right. Well, know you're good at defending, stick to the basics, and can you force the player to the left, right?
yeah,
Like don't try to recreate the wheel, just jump back on it, right? You've already done the work. You already tell coach, don't lie. Don't lie to yourself or coach, especially a team sport, right? Say, hey, like maybe you want to put me at midfield today so I don't have to do any sharp well, I guess midfielders do sharp movements, but as much, right? Don't I think you're spot on where whether it's golf, whether it's soccer, whether it's anything in life, right? You're at where you're at for a reason, and you are good at more than one thing. So if one thing isn't going well, don't dwell on it. Yeah, try and work through it if you can, right? Like you said, if I don't know, if you're slicing or if your chips are off at the range, maybe you're misreading the greens.
yeah,
Okay, just focus on two putting that day. I mean, if you two putt every hole, geez, you're probably going to do well in the tournament, right?
right, yeah,
Don't
exactly.
force yourself to do that one putt every time.
And feel isn't necessarily real, right? Like, I mean, I think that it's just, you know, a feeling is a feeling, and it basically a feeling is like basically, oh gosh, I don't really have anywhere else to go with this other than the fact that,
No, it's
and
like
like a
sorting
feeling,
it out, sorting out
yeah,
what feelings are real and what feelings you can kind of just
yeah.
say
It's
exist, you know?
important if you make it important, right? And important in a good way or important in a bad way. And so, if, like you said, warm ups or whatever, it's like if you put a ton of weight in that, then obviously that's going to carry a ton of weight throughout the rest of the day. But it's like if you start to understand the feelings that are important, the feelings that aren't important, again, like just learning about yourself, like learning what makes you you, going back to those fundamental things of like, hey, look, like what are the things that are important to you? You start to realize you start to put your eggs in the baskets that actually matter versus the ones that just kind of pop up and try to be a problem that aren't really a problem.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I think Ted Lasso said it best: "Be a goldfish." I don't think it
Yeah,
applies.
yeah,
He said it for soccer, but I think it almost applies better for golf. To be honest,
that's a fact. John Rahm
we can
ran with that one for a while. I know.
yeah.
Yeah, he did.
We
Yeah,
soccer players or team sport athletes, we can hide behind our teammates sometimes, which is awesome that we can rely on them, right? But golf, you have to literally you have 30 seconds if you're lucky to walk up to the next spot, scout out your shot and take the swing. You
right.
want to say, okay, I know I can do better. Take that practice putt or that practice swing again to prove to yourself you can. But then you're like, all right, next one, like, and it's deflating when the next one ends up out of bounds or in a bunker or in the rough, and then your whole hole turns to shit or the whole
Yeah.
round. But it's like, what can you do? Like, what can you do at that point? You tried your best, and obviously, the higher up you go in your profession, the more weight it carries for
Hmm.
a plethora of reasons. But it all ties back to what you said. What feelings do you want to make important? Do you want to make the "I suck at golf, I had a bad round" feeling important, or do you want to make the "Oh, it was a bad day out of the 100,000 rounds that I've played to get myself here. What do I do usually from here that makes my game better?" Is it spend time with my family, spend time with my faith, jump onto YouTube for a little bit and record some videos?
Right.
Is it go to the range? Because I'm not gonna lie, some people need to go back to the range, like, that's what they rely on, but that comes back to, again, like you said, so many tidbits of wisdom here, spending that time with yourself, figuring out yourself,
Hmm.
being uncomfortable in that entire time. It's not comfortable, I'll tell you that. Being honest with
Right.
yourself is the most uncomfortable thing you can be, especially
Yeah.
when it sucks, right? It feels
Right.
awesome when you're like, yeah, I did that. But when it's
It's
like,
great when it's great. Yeah.
crap, I did that, right? It takes time. And I think given the world we live in, we see so many of the highlight reels. We see so many of the good moments and so many of the laughters that we don't see what they do or what you do, I guess, for lack of better words, when it's not going
Hmm.
well. So we appreciate you for kind of giving us that insight and sharing that. Yeah, like I said, we see you on YouTube, we see you on TV, we see you on some of the Corn Ferry events or at Q School or whatever. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's probably more moments of the other words because we're just seeing the 4 hour rounds, right? We don't see the
Right.
40 hour weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very good point, especially like in the age that we live in now of like Instagram Reels and TikTok and things, and where everybody just looks, so good on Instagram and, everything's great, my life is awesome, yada yada, whatever. And it's like it's understanding that that's not real life. I think that was the thing for me with Instagram before before I started down this path. The reason I wanted to delete it was because it didn't, like, a lot of it didn't feel authentic. And so that's why, like, I've made it a point in my editing, and there's certain things that it's like obviously like I really make an effort to have a positive attitude, be very, family friendly on my channel and like things like that. And it's like, but like, hey, look, like if there's actually a thing where I was playing against Brad on his channel, and like I like hit in the water and it caused me to like lose the match, and now I have to go skydive, which I don't want to freaking go skydive, where I got mad and I like cussed and I was mad, and like for like 5 7 seconds I was like, it was like bleep 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 bleep. and and Brad was like, "Oh, do you want me to like take her out?" And I'm like, "No." Like I was like, it would be like, it wouldn't be real. Like it wouldn't be me if that authenticity wasn't there. Like that's me. Like
Hmm.
sorry, human, get pissed. Like that happens when I do bad things. Like or
When
when
you have
I
to
play
skydive.
bad. Yeah, when I don't want to skydive and I have to go to skydive. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. But and that's what it's kind of nice in YouTube too, where like that's going to get left in on my channel, like not necessarily. I hope there's not any situations like that. I don't think there will be, but I think that more so it's like, if I miss, I'm going to miss short putts on my channel. Like I'm going to hit bad shots. I'm not going to re-hit anything. I'm not saying people do. I don't. I actually, thankfully, I good does not, because I that would be the tough one for me to swallow. It's like people, like, again, like blatantly trying to make themselves look better, like, because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, guess what? Like, no, like, I don't know. There's enough things out there in the world that make everybody look perfect and everything, and like people watch him. I mean, especially like people watch me and be like, oh my gosh, like he's such a good golfer, like he doesn't make mistakes. And it's like, oh no, guess what? Like I literally make them all the freaking time. It's like, especially, and you'll see this as I play 18 holes on in this video, like how many mistakes I make, and I'll call out my mistakes. And some people say, oh, you're being negative, yada yada, whatever. It's like, nope, but it's like that's just me. That's just what I do.
It's just your
That's
mental
just
note. you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Joel
Yeah.
Damon's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Some people are like, why is he so mopey? Why is he so this? I'm like, he's not. He's just relaxed. He's being himself. He's gonna tell you when he sucks. He's gonna tell you when he's doing really well. And I think it was in
Right.
the good video. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, that was a bad shot," and then he was like, "Wait a minute, I'm 6 under, and you guys are beating me. I'm actually playing well. Like what?"
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
again, I think it's because we are so accustomed to just seeing all this positivity, seeing all this. Well, ironically, I don't know if it's all positive, but we're so used to the polar opposites, the extremes, right? Either really positive or really negative, that we forget that 90% of our day is the middle. We
Yeah.
exist
Right.
in the middle. Yeah, we're human. We're going to have our skydiving Sean cuss moments, but
Yeah.
we're also going to hold up our trophies. We're going to have our aha moments. Well, I'm 6 under. Sometimes the cards just aren't being pulled for me. The dice don't land on the numbers I need. And I think I appreciate that point by you. I think we do need to realize that we, yeah, we do exist in extremes sometimes, but most of the time we're just taking our 3 wood, hitting it down the fairway, taking our medicine, and take the par and scoot, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not always hitting that birdie, and you're not always hitting that triple bogey.
No, it's like one
It's
of
tough.
like, yeah, like I mean, I learn more in rounds when I shoot 78 than I do when I shoot
I'll take it. I'll take it.
64. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
I'll trade with you.
I know. You're right.
I
But
think
it's
I'm
like that's what,
best
yeah.
round's 93 for me. So if you got any tips for a
Hey,
93er,
all right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I
three and a
mean,
half years of golf, and our handicap's down. So
okay. I
just
was
keep
gonna
going
say,
down.
yeah, yeah. Give yourself a little grace. It's this game is so
Well, I'm in a
hard.
golf league that's handicap based, and like some days, I guess last year I mean, I got an MVP somehow. I think it's because my handicap was so high and I could shoot bogey and get
You
birdie.
slid that one in, didn't you? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, my friends that laugh at this are going to give me crap for it later, but
There you go. Good. You have good friends
this is
then.
the only golf achievement I got. I gotta rely on it. It's keeping me
Heck yeah,
going.
as you
No, but
should. Is that a
to that
trophy
point,
I see
it's
in the back? No, I'm kidding.
yeah. No, I have a plaque though. We do have a plaque to show it. So if I
That's
need to, I'll break it out. I'll flex it on them. But that's not the point. The point is like if your best is 93, I can't compare it to Sean's worst, right?
right.
Like he's
Right.
spent so much time in this, and I think that goes back to
For sure.
what another one of your points. Again, I just need clip after clip and put them on buttons here for you that I can just hit. We can't compare. We just can't. And then I guarantee if you put Sean on a soccer field, he's not going to try and do what I'm doing. It goes back
Yes.
to knowing
Correct.
what you're good at. I'm not going to out sprint Bubby in a 50-yard dash. Like it's just not going to happen, right? That one we might be able to test. No, I'm kidding. He would
That's right.
smoke.
We might have to test
But
that. Yeah.
the to kind of center back here, the point of that is like your best is your best. And I think you mentioned this off script for the opposite, right? Like your lowest moment is your lowest moment. My lowest moment is mine. We don't
Hmm.
need to compare them. We can both
Correct.
exist and respect our lowest and highest moments. And I could admire that you can hit a 300-yard drive, and you can admire that I can juggle the soccer ball thousands of times. Like they're both
Right.
cool, but they're both so different. How do
Hmm.
you, I guess, last question here before we kind of jump in the end, how do you tell yourself that, right? Because, like I said early on, you're watching these pro guys that you grew up with win 7 trophies in a year. I don't know how many Scotty won last year. It was some, I think he ran out of fingers, almost toes.
Yeah, probably.
But then you're coming over to the YouTube space and you're watching your new friends like Garrett and Luke already kill it in this space. How do you remind yourself that, like, yeah, I'm still doing my best and it's obviously freaking incredible, but it doesn't have to be what their best looks like?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I mean, I think I'll always kind of circle back of just like standing what the most important things are in my life. It's like obviously I can go try to do these things, but at the end of the day, those won't define me. And I mean, like you said, like I love that quote. I mean, I don't even remember where I heard it, but basically, it's like the worst thing to ever happen to you is the worst thing to ever happen to you. And it's like you said, like it's apples and oranges, and you don't know. And I think that people should just understand that, like when somebody is, going through something, like you can't put it through your lens. It's like the lens is their lens, regardless. And so, it might not seem like a big deal to you, but it's a big deal to them. So giving grace, to those when, those situations are occurring, I think is the best thing that any of us can do is, you know, empathy through, objective empathy, basically. Or, yeah, like in understanding hey, look, like that like they're acting like that really sucks for them, so it probably really sucks for them. And it might not be a big deal to me, but it sucks for them, and so I can go be nice to them and try to help them in whatever ways I can. I think you know just a little bit of love. Lead with love. That's what I think
Yes.
that the world needs a little bit more of. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. Give that grace to yourself as well. Give that to your friends. And that's the hardest one to do. It's easy to do it for your friends, right? When you genuinely enjoy being around them, but it's harder when one, you're the one who needs it and your friends are giving it to you and you're like, why are you treating me different, bro? Like still make fun of like you get that whole paradigm. But I think it's true. I think if you lead it with love, give yourself a healthy dose of grace. Obviously don't continue to slip down whatever path you're on if it's negative or get
yeah,
sucked up in the success, but a healthy balance of grace and just love. You said it best. There's really no other word for it. So
yeah.
we appreciate that. And yeah, before we get to the final question here, the big scary final question of the
All
episode,
right,
where
ready.
can we find you? I know you mentioned your social medias. We know you're on Good Good. You are so humble. You didn't even actually. I was waiting. I was bringing up your YouTube so many times. You didn't even
I'm
bring up your
supposed to
own
plug
YouTube
it, aren't I?
name here. Yeah, that's what we're here. This is
Rookie.
the plug moment. Go ahead and plug it.
Perfect. No, all right. So on YouTube, it's Sean Walsh Golf. I mean, again, I think we're on our seventh, potentially eighth video, but we're crushing it, trying to do it the right way. I've been able to have a front row seat to Good and Luke and all the people who are really good at this. And so I'm kind of taking little pieces of all of those. So we're doing some fun stuff there. Yeah, Sean Walsh 14 on Instagram. I have some underscore somewhere. I don't even know where it is in that Sean Walsh 14. Maybe if you type in Sean, you'll find it. But yeah, I mean, we're doing some cool stuff. I mean, obviously, in between the golf stuff, the good stuff, personal channel, pro golfer, just getting to spend time at home here in Dallas Fort Worth area with my wife and my kid and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. So yeah, we're. I mean, people always say living the dream, but I truly do feel like I'm living the dream. So even on the bad days.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, and I love that you can acknowledge that while you're in it, right? So often we look back and we're like, even for me, like college career was awesome. I think COVID forced me to slow down. We didn't really bring this up. This could be a whole nother episode, but COVID forced me to slow down and say, dude, yeah, it's a tough time right now for the entire world, but you're waking up, going to school and playing the sport you love with your friends and you're doing pretty good. So you are
Right.
living the dream. It's that perspective that when you're in it and you notice it, it just makes it that much more sweet. So thank you for
100%.
that. Those who need to hear that, know you're living the dream while you're in it, because if you forget and wait till afterwards, you'll regret it. I promise.
Yeah,
But are you ready for
exactly.
the final scary question here on the Make
All
Mental
right.
podcast? You might need to brace yourself, right?
All right. I'm ready for it. Hit me.
I think it goes along with your point of leading with love. So we'll end with it. If there's one person in the entire world right now that could use a hug from you, who would you give it to and
Oh,
why?
man.
This is our final question for every guest. So we've heard it all.
One person that deserves a hug, or that needs a hug, or deserves a hug.
That
I
needs
guess
one.
that needs one.
You can interpret that. You can interpret it. Why does
Needs
someone
one.
need one that doesn't deserve it? Do we have some tea here, Sean?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, end with some tea. No, man, that needs a hug. Man, I guess, dude, you weren't lying. This is a scary question. Could you give me an example? Do you have one? Could you tell me
Do
yours?
I have one?
Sorry, I'm flipping the
Yeah.
script.
So who do I need to give a hug to? No, this is
See,
great.
exactly. You're not getting off the hook. You ask us
No,
all
I
these hard
think
questions.
yeah, you're just buying time. See, you are good at
Yes,
this
I
YouTube
am.
stuff.
100%. No, 100%. I'm just
No, I
buying
I
time.
think I think I give it to my cousin. One of my cousins. His name is Corey. He's a coach
Okay.
at a college basketball program. Actually, I'll shout him out at St. Mary's, California. They're actually in the NCAA tournament. So
That's
he's
right.
an
West Coast
assistant coach there,
Conference.
and
Same as
yeah, he's
Gonzaga.
yeah. Wow, I
Nice.
forgot about that. Sorry, they had your number this year.
No,
We'll
you're
we'll plug
good.
the Gales, but
Yeah, they did.
um, the, he's been putting in a lot of work to get where he's at, and a lot of times it goes unnoticed if you're not the head coach or the star player. So I would give him a hug and say like I'm excited to go watch him play this weekend because they're actually on the East Coast. So
Man, nice. Dude, that's okay. That's a good one.
drop that, Sean. Right back
Dude,
at you.
no
No,
kidding, man.
no, you're
That
you're good.
needs a hug. That needs a hug. Okay, I got one. I got one. All right, all right. So my good buddy Mac, he he's like personal trainer down at a golf club down in Austin, and he was the best man at my wedding, and he's just a grinder, and he's just like he's got two kids and putting in the work, and again, sometimes doesn't necessarily go, as noticed, and he puts in a lot of work and sometimes doesn't necessarily see the benefits. But like you said, it's like just keep beating the drum because you never know, like you never know which knock is going to knock down the door. And so, Mac, keep grinding, brother. And I'll
There
give
we
him a hug,
go.
obviously, to wrap it up, my
Well,
man.
he'll feel
I'll
it.
give you a hug, bro.
Virtual hug.
Yeah, that's right.
Virtual hug. Maybe next time you see him, you're gonna be like, "Hey, you're about to get two hugs
Exactly.
right now, and
Exactly.
virtual." So,
I'm gonna give you a
but
hug. Yeah.
we appreciate your time, and I know an hour out of your busy day is huge for us, and I know so many people are gonna learn obviously so much about you, but so much about themselves from this episode, right? It's we didn't break ground, we didn't come up with some new fancy way to reinvent how to take care of yourself. We simply just acknowledge that sometimes a deep breath is needed. You need to rely on your community. You reminded us that it's not what you do is not who you are. There are so many other areas of yourself that you can kind of place your identity in order to get what you do for a living to the top level. So many good tidbits of wisdom. I think that's like the third time I've said it, but it's so true. It's just you've helped us realize that small steps, a lot of time with yourself, giving yourself grace, and then hugging your best man at your wedding can go a long way.
That's right. That's right. Well, Caleb, no, I appreciate what you're doing, man. I really think you're doing some good work, helping out all these listeners and stuff. And again, like you said, cut yourself some slack, give yourself some grace. There's a reason you got that voice in your head that's telling you work harder, work faster, yada yada. It's great that you have that, but at the same time, a little bit of grace, and you'd be surprised at how much further you continue to excel. So.